Thanks for joining us today. We start with Ashley Rucker, a Florida woman who loved her ex-boyfriend as much as she feared him. And Ashley's sister was literally caught in the crossfire of that volatile relationship. Springtime in Jacksonville, Florida. Sisters Ashley and Lisa Rucker are outside soaking up the sun when they spot a handsome neighbor across the street. His name? Chad Absher.
He was good. I liked him in the beginning. He had a lawn care company that I think he inherited from his dad.
Right away, it's an immediate connection between Chad and Ashley. The two begin dating and eventually move in together. But when their one-year anniversary rolls around, Ashley's family suspects her Prince Charming is anything but.
After numerous times of, how did that get on your eye? Why do you have two black eyes? I just figured it out. You could only run into so many doors and fall down so many stairs.
At one point, cops are called out to Chad and Ashley's home. In the police report, Ashley claims she recently left Chad, and when she returned to collect her belongings, he pulled a knife on her. The officer at the scene writes, "I observed 2 lacerations on the victim's throat, which would be consistent with a knife blade being held there. I also observed multiple abrasions on different parts of the victim's body, right eye, back, right ankle." Police can't locate Chad at the time. Ashley once again flees to her loving family.
I don't know. She ran to Dad enough times, probably 30 times.
During an 18-month period, cops are called 2 times to Chad and Ashley's home for incidents of violence. Each time, Chad is not arrested. Authorities claimed Ashley refused to write a police statement or press charges.
He brainwashed her and beat her down, made her know how ugly she was.
Ashley's family claimed Chad's violence toward Ashley continued to escalate. Yet after each episode, she returns.
I tried my best. I tried my best with her. And she wouldn't listen. She just wouldn't listen.
And Chad posted his horrific handiwork all over his Facebook page. Ashley's uncle saw the brazen and brutal photos pop up on Chad's page.
It's like he valued that as a prize or a trophy. I don't know what's in his mind. But he's a sick man.
Then Chad reportedly turns his rage toward Ashley's family.
He had said, "I'm killing everybody in this place."
Ashley's sister Lisa begins to believe his threats, claiming Chad had pulled out a gun and held it to her head. Lisa says Chad eventually puts the gun away, but when Lisa and Ashley's father hears about it, he makes yet another plea to his oldest daughter.
The next step, you will be dead. And I actually said, as sure as I'm sitting in this chair, he's gonna shoot you.
Turns out Chad had taken aim at a woman before and paid the price. One police report states Chad showed up to an ex-girlfriend's home in the pre-dawn hours, aimed an assault rifle at her bedroom, and fired off several rounds. That time, Chad was arrested and convicted on stalking charges. He spent 3 years behind bars and met Ashley after his release. Her family claims he hadn't learned his lesson.
They're predators. They keep it up. They don't stop. They might stop for a month or 2. They go right back to it.
Police knew Chad had a gun and threatened Ashley with it. It says so right there in their own report. The officer asks, "Has your partner ever threatened you with a weapon?" And Ashley responds, "Yes." Then a follow-up question. If yes, which weapon type? Ashley answers, "Gun." Which raises the million-dollar question. Why wasn't Chad ever arrested for carrying a firearm as a convicted felon?
They dropped the ball, had him with weapon, and he don't even get arrested.
We reached out to the Jacksonville Sheriff's Department, who told us this was a probation issue. Even though Chad was never arrested, Ashley's dad does admit cops warned his daughter about the danger.
They told her, "Listen to me. You're going to die if you stay around this guy."
And it seems the fear tactic might work. Ashley musters up the courage to break up with Chad and get her own apartment with her sister Lisa and their children.
She didn't need that jerk. She was doing fantastic without him.
And yet, Ashley soon breaks and allows Chad into her new, safe, private space. At first, Chad appears to be on his best behavior, so Ashley invites him over once again. It happens to be Halloween.
I knew it was going to happen. I just didn't know when.
On this night, it's a party for four, including Chad, Ashley, Lisa, and her friend Lyle. But the festive night takes a dark turn when, out of nowhere, Chad starts choking Ashley. Lisa's friend immediately steps in and fists fly. This time, Chad is on the losing end of the punches, but he still refuses to leave.
No. There's an altercation. I'm asking someone to leave. They will not get out of my apartment.
Okay, who is that? Your boyfriend? Your brother?
No, it's my sister's boyfriend.
Does anyone have any weapons? Are they drinking or drugs or what?
No.
All right, we'll send the next available officer out there. Call us back if anything changes, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Earlier that evening, her sister Ashley hid Chad's rifle behind a love seat after he started acting angry and erratic. Lisa's friend Lyle stepped outside after the fight, thinking the danger was over, but instead, it's a countdown to tragedy.
My sister is saying, he's got a gun, he's got a gun.
Ashley and her sister Lisa are at a Halloween party when Ashley's ex-boyfriend Chad arrives. A fight ensues and it turns violent. Chad opens fire, hitting not just one, but both girls in the back of the head.
When I saw him pull out the gun, I was thinking in my head, he's not really gonna shoot me. And then in a split second, that's all it took.
It was like I was inside my own head and I'm thinking, I'm dying. He just shot me. I could barely breathe because I was choking on my own blood.
It took 21 agonizing minutes for police to get there, all because Lisa had mistakenly told the 911 operator there was no gun in the apartment. Their father is asleep a few miles away when the phone call comes in.
I remember if it was 3 or 4 in the morning, and I said, who the hell is that? My older daughter, Ashley, had been shot in the head. Lisa, she was shot in the head also.
Paramedics pronounce Ashley dead at the scene. Miraculously, Lisa is alive.
I blacked out again. When I came to the second time, my nephew and my son are running back and forth between me and my sister.
Ashley and Lisa's 4- and 8-year-old boys witness their own mothers being gunned down.
When they're like, please don't die. Please don't die. And I told my son, I'm okay. You know, mommy's okay. But the whole time in the back of my head, I'm saying, I'm dying. You know, he's witnessing me die.
Then Lisa recalls Chad's chilling threat to kill her family.
He's gonna kill my son. You know, then I start panicking. He's gonna kill the kids.
But Chad has already left the scene and a massive manhunt is underway. Lisa literally dodged a fatal bullet, which ricocheted off her skull, broke her jaw, and then came out the left side of her face.
Thankfully, his aim was a little off, and he didn't kill me.
She's a walking miracle, 100%.
After a 2-day manhunt, Chad Absher was captured and charged with murder, attempted murder, and possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. Chad's father claims the sisters attacked his son and he was defending himself. And Lisa testified in court against the man who shot and killed her sister and tried to kill her. Chad was convicted, and a Florida judge handed down 2 life sentences, 1 for each victim, plus 15 years for possession of a firearm by a convicted felon.
You know, all the wounds will close, but mentally, I can't understand any of it. I don't know why, and I'll never know that why.
Chad must serve 2 life sentences consecutively, eliminating any chance that he will ever be free again. Welcome back. We turn now to the mystery of a missing musician known as Chicago Johnny. His bitter divorce was coming to an end when he vanished into thin air. He was a beloved blues musician. But still today, no one can answer the simple question, what happened to John Spira on a cold February Chicago day?
He was an incredible guy. He was engaging, he was smart, he was funny.
Known as Chicago Johnny, his tight-knit family says he loved life.
I think that if you asked all 3 of us, our best holidays or our best weekends were spent with each other.
John, the eldest of three, had many interests, including a highly successful company called Universal Cable Construction in West Chicago. But his primary passion was music as the lead guitarist of blues band, the Rabble Rousers.
In high school, his friends showed him a couple chords on the guitar, and that was it. He got really good really fast.
Music was John's true love, but his marriage to wife Suzanne was less melodic.
I don't think she ever really fit in, and frankly, I don't think she wanted to.
No one was surprised when, after 15 years together, John and Suzanne split up.
He said that she had made his life a living hell for 2 years.
Through it all, John focused his attention on his new life and love, girlfriend Renata. When the divorce dust finally settled, family and friends were relieved.
He had just come from court, and he told me that he thought that he should finally have this divorce, and he was pretty upbeat about that.
And that day, John headed to work in time for a weekly office barbecue at the company he co-owned with partner Dave Steuben.
Him and Dave sometimes had some differences on things, but you know, that's certainly not unusual in a business.
Around 7 p.m., John calls a friend making plans to meet for dinner.
He never showed up.
And later that evening, John's girlfriend Renata tries calling him. He never picks up.
So Renata, his girlfriend's like frantic, calling. She called the police, and they said, nothing we can do.
Until matters turn alarming the next night when John is a no-show for a gig.
We kept thinking he was going to walk in, plug in, and everything would be fine. But then he didn't.
Whenever an adult has what we would consider a fairly successful life, has a girlfriend, has family, has no obvious reason to disappear on his own, certainly we think right away foul play could be involved here.
St. Charles Police and DuPage County Sheriff's detectives are notified. They bring cadaver dogs to where John was last seen alive, Universal Cable Construction. Partner Dave Steuben allows cops to search the business where there are no telling signs, but it's the location of John's truck that piques detectives' interest.
When the police arrived, the truck was found in the back lot that's gated.
But John usually parked in the front lot. Did someone move his truck after he vanished? Then another problem. A large piece of plastic sheeting is missing that employees used as a doorway to block out cold air.
John can't be found. We're missing plastic. So at that point, 2 and 2 starts to look like 4.
Police also learned John's cell phone never left Universal Cable. A few days later, Stephanie arrives in town to search for her big brother, remembering their last call.
I said, I'll see you in 10 days. And 10 days later, I was flying to Chicago to go search for him.
But Stephanie's search yields no evidence and no John. Then she learns John's business partner and his estranged wife are spending time together.
He's like, I gotta go to Suzanne's and shovel snow. And I was like, you're going to shovel snow at her house? I mean, why?
12 days after John vanishes, Dave Steuben agrees to be questioned.
He had met detectives in our office, and he interviewed with them and answered questions approximately 3 hours.
And Dave proceeds to raise red flags about John.
Dave Steuben reported that he would leave for a week at a time and not have contact with anyone.
We learned that John had a couple other romantic involvement with other women. So certainly in those situations, there's an obvious romantic angle of, a spurned or jealous husband that could have been involved.
But when they ask Dave Steuben to take a polygraph exam to help clear his name,
He decided that he would no longer talk to the police at all. And that same story is mirrored for Suzanne Spera. She wouldn't speak to the police anymore.
John's brother Tom claims all roads lead to Dave and Suzanne. He believes they conspired to get John's money.
I don't think she wanted to get the divorce. I mean, why? Look at the house they lived in. Look at the income he had. I mean, she had a very, very healthy lifestyle. And she shared this information with Dave, and Dave said, well, we think his half of the business is probably worth X, and you'd get that income, or whatever deal they seem to have made.
Neither Dave or Suzanne were ever arrested or charged in John's disappearance. But after John's younger sister puts up a missing sign across the street from Dave's office at Universal Cable, 2 days later, the building goes up in flames.
The fire was eventually ruled by the Fire Investigative Task Force as an incendiary fire. So someone set this fire at Universal Cable. We just don't know whom, we don't know why.
But they do know there's a big insurance payout after the fire.
They ended up settling for, I believe it was approximately $700,000.
Time slowly ticks by with no sign of John Spira when 3 years later, his ex-wife Suzanne is found dead, reportedly of natural causes.
We'll never know what Suzanne knew or didn't know.
It's now been over 17 long years since John Spira vanished.
It's considered a missing person case, certainly the suspicious circumstances.
More than ever, John's family believes that he was murdered, and despite no charges, they are convinced his business partner may have some kind of involvement.
Dave Steuben independently or Dave Steuben with somebody else did.
While detectives still do consider Dave a person of interest, he's not the only one. The case remains open.
There's a list of people that are close to John that I would call people of interest. Anyone close to someone who disappears or is murdered are going to be people of interest. So he's one of many.